The rest of the dialogue, maybe not, but
Yeah. So my rambling we don't have to have, but since I never remember to hit record, that was a great idea. Thank you. Last week I had showed some of this as well, and I was kind of like trying to find things and scrambling. So what I have right here that you're seeing is 3 pieces. This is a new study that I'm working on, and this is 3 pieces of students answering the same question. And so I have interview material as well that I'm working through and transcribing in that, but just to show you a little bit of this. So like my code book for this is looking at whether the kids think they've gained science content, whether they think that they have gained teacher pedagogical moves, and personal experiences. And so then going down through these 3 students, what I can see when I'm looking at this, it says, the first one, working with the students was really important. Nothing will teach me better. I have a huge passion for this. All right, so working with the students is the most important experience. Now, this is not a good format to be working on this in, but I'm just going to drop an arrow in here so you see what I mean. All right, so working with the students, I would say that's probably like personal experience. And I don't have a code that says working with the students. I have a code that says personal experiences, because I want to look at this. My research question is, did these experiences that we have give them science content, give them any pedagogical skills, and impact the way that they feel as themselves about being a science teacher, even though they're only freshmen starting their sophomore year? Do they feel like they have this identity? And so and then I would look down through and I see, nothing shows me how, this is maybe something that I don't have a code for now. If I wanted to look at right here, if I drop it on, you're not going to see it because this isn't, I meant to do this in as a PDF so I could highlight it better. Nothing will teach me how to work with the kids better than actually working with them. So maybe this one I want to talk about the experiences that they had. And so I might make this one a new code. My little blue block is a new code that says like experiences. Huge passion for this. Then we're going to like teacher experiences. Whoops, it's going the wrong way, and that's going to make a mess. There we go. Okay, so this isn't cooperating as much as I thought it was going to.
But the point is, you would label that with the code next to it so that you know what it was.
Yeah,
right?
I would label that over top of it. And then I go down to the next one and I look through here. And here I'm seeing things like personal changes, much more open person. I watch little things. These are teacher pedagogical moves, but it's also being an open person. So I would create a code for this where it says being an open person is in like changes to self or something like that. And I wasn't expecting to see things like that they feel like this has been, that changing of an experience, but because they're not relating to that to teaching at all. And then, small student personal, this is like personal impact. And then I would come down to here. It's much more comfortable working with peers and students. So that's like a personal change, the different techniques and teaching techniques I can use when I begin to teach. They feel it's influenced their teaching style, their pedagogical moves, but they haven't actually done anything with that. So I would take these whenever I'm done coding, and I like doing them as a PDF because I can write over top of them and I can highlight with different colors. My Word is not cooperating with me right now because I used to be able to block over top of it, and I have to look at my settings and play with it. I have a program. It's called Atlas TI. It's really a sweet program. It's $100 for students. It's freaking expensive as heck for faculty and other people, but they give you a student license that is good forever. It's your own software. You just don't get the updates on it after a certain point. It's like $100. So to look at that, okay, where's the one I was showing you here? So with this, this gives you a way that you can really easily go through and you can, maybe I'm not signed in. Okay, so my codes are over here. Whoops, did I stop sharing? Nope, it's good still. And then like this one, I can come onto this document. I'm making it really small. I'm sorry, but I have to get the window to fit with you guys. Oh, you can't see it.
We can't see that window.
Hold on, I'm fixing it. It's not showing up as something I can share with you. Alrighty, so we'll do it this way. All right, so now you see my whole messy desktop. Just wait, I'll show you the screen, the desktop for real. It's horrendous. So what I can do on here, anytime we were working with children, I would read down through, and here's my codes that I'm working with. This is my real code book that I'm working with. And then in September last year, I was much more timid and passive. So I can highlight this, and I come over here, I drag my code on it, and it puts it here. And then when I'm done with this, this program will actually print me out. I can save it as a PDF. I can save it out as an Excel spreadsheet, so it'll give me a number of numbers. This is really a sweet piece of software. Like I said, for students, you can buy it pretty cheaply in comparison. I think a license for me as a faculty now is like $500 for a year almost. It's crazy expensive, which I did not know was coming out of my budget, so I probably will not have it next year. But, you know, so this is what I've worked with whenever I was a student, and I really feel that it worked well, because whenever you get down to the end of it, what you can do is put in, and I don't have enough coding to do this right now, you can put in, like, you want to see all the quotations where it is personal impact and teacher behaviors, and connecting to students. And it will pull all the ones that have an and function, or it will pull ands and an or. It'll use all these Boolean operators to actually do that. And then you can start actually building theory from this, because you can see the things that relate together and don't relate together. And if you make them type them, you can drop a Word document in here, and then you can do what's called quick coding up here at the top. And quick coding allows you to put in a word like, quote, working with students, end quote, and it'll go through your entire set of Word documents and find anytime that that's used.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do that in Word though too, with find changes, or in a PDF that's OCR, you can do that with find changes. So those will do it too if you happen to have those, but this is a really nice tool that does work, and it goes along with the, like I said, that VNote. You can get it pretty cheap if you want to buy it, but you really don't have to buy it. You can do that one free to do the video coding. So these are just two of the tools that I'm pretty impressed with right now that I've been working with these things. So anyway, so what I would do with this then is I would look through all of my personal impact quotes. Let me just fake a few right here. All right, and then I'll go through and I'll just, and I'm not even reading what I'm highlighting. I am, whoops, I don't know what I just did there. I'm going to kill it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can assign colors to this. You can do all kinds of different things. So I'm doing these different codes here, and as I drop them on, this really works well for like screenshots, photographs, concept maps, anything tangible like that. You can really use this pretty easily to do that. Okay, so then what I can do is I can, where's it at? Word printer, here's, I just got this, so it's been, and hold on, sorry. I'm running into problems for the Zoom taskbar, in my taskbar that's on there. Oh, you can see, never mind. Okay, I'm finding where it's at because they've moved things around. I can do that now. Should have. Oh, and you can write notes, you can memo things, that kind of thing. So this gives you then a visual representation of the codes that you have, and you can create visual representations from it. And I'm still not finding the one that I wanted to see. Export. Export the project. If you're interested in doing more with this, I will go through again and figure out what I'm missing. It should be right here. Okay, there we go. So I can go into here and it will show me then the quotations that I have that I've linked on there, and it'll show me the code that I put with them. And I can have it skip through and show that to me as well. If it's words that I'm coding, there's like a Word document or a PDF, it will pull those out for me and drop them into the spreadsheet for it. And what that lets you do then is kind of start looking over it and being able to pull things together and say, well, all of these things that I have over here, connection to scholars, connection to students, learning community. Well, I don't have anything in learning community. I have connection to scholars, connection to students. So maybe part of the benefit of this program isn't just those, but it's building this community. Even though the students aren't saying it, they're not using any of the words that I have listed over here. You know, none of these words were actually showing up in what they were saying. But it's like whenever you're teaching or when you're working with someone and you say, well, this is the answer I want, but this is also acceptable. Okay? These are other answers that mean the same thing. This is a math problem that gets me the same answer in a different way. That's how you kind of can connect your codes together with the documents or the words that people have, is that's what they mean to you. And then when you get over here, maybe these first three are all about building a community. And then the pedagogical moves and the teacher behaviors, those are talking about teaching strategies. And then the personal impact and the student anecdotes, maybe those are affecting impact on student lives. So these would be themes then that I could look for that I could try to put together. So does that kind of make sense to you? Sort of? Okay, I'm stopping sharing. All right, so now questions and things like that that you happen to have about that, about coding, about putting it together, any of those kind of pieces.
Well, just the one that what I've been doing, starting to pretty much getting into here, is with my coding, I've noticed that there's some things that people are saying that I hadn't thought about, and so now I can create a new code for that. That's what I've been doing. So that's really the idea. And so what you just demonstrated really proves for me that what I'm doing is the right thing. So I'm glad of that.
Good. Yeah, so you have your a priori codes, which means the literature says I should see these things, or my gut feeling says I'll see these things. And then 99% of the time, you're going to have a couple that don't get used, and you'll have a couple that are open codes that you add to that because you're finding things that you think are important that people did not talk about before. You haven't read the right paper that talked about it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have something to talk about, ask about? You're finding things with your work. You want to share screen and tell us what's going on for you? Anything?
I just wanted to clarify from your message today. My time, I'm really dedicating time tomorrow and Friday to put my mind onto paper and to actually put everything together. Do you? If it's due then a week after that, I guess my question, I should just ask my question, sorry. Now, how much is it that you want us to talk with you about the data, or just if we feel like we need to prior to submitting our final?
Some people are very sure about what they're doing, and they have a really good idea going into it right now. From what they've said, this is, I think it's going great. I'm pretty good about it. I'm fine. I think I'll just put it all together. Some people want to sit down with me and like screen share and say, this is what I'm finding. This is what I'm saying about it. Does this look like I'm doing it right? So it's up to you. It's always up to you what you need to do with this time that we can put together. So if you have questions or you just want to make sure you're verifying it, if you're coming together, you're getting some codes and you think that you're having some findings, you're having some results that you're coming up with, and you want me to look at your data and say, yeah, I see how you're getting that. That's great. And I'll just talk about it whenever, talk about it this way whenever you start writing. We can do that too. And there are some people, I'm sure, that will be coding Thursday afternoon and finishing their paper Friday morning before they turn it in. So yeah, my kids bought me a shirt today that says running late counts as exercise, right? So, that's typically how I work. So I understand if you feel like you do not have a point where you can share some drafty ideas with me, or you just want to know that I think that you're on the right track based on what you're doing. So,
All right. I was just making sure I was reading that. First of all, I was reading it off my phone while I was sitting in another spot, but I just wanted to make sure I was catching that correctly. Thank you.
yes. Anybody else have anything that's going on that you want to talk through, share? Yes.
When looking at putting together the paper part of it and the outline that you have for us, the methods part of it, that's not something we wrote for you prior to when we started collecting our data, was it?
It's in your IRB. When you wrote your IRB, you had to put methods in there. Your method is I asked the people if I were, to consent. I watched them in class. I interviewed them. That's your method. That's your method section. That's how you did your study.
Didn't think of it that way, but I was having trouble finding it. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I think truly I tried to build it so that you have probably 70% of it built in different places that need smoothed together. By the time you actually started writing your paper, you should be able to chunk in a lot of pieces of it and just kind of smooth the edges.
Well, based on our conversation, that's what I anticipated, but I was trying to put those pieces together so I would have, a rough draft to start schmoozing together. And I got to the method section and I'm like, I don't remember writing that. So, but didn't think about the IRB. So sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
My bad.
Hey, there's all kinds of terminology that are always crazy, like method versus methodology versus, because if you look at your IRB application, which you didn't end up like using, but I mean, you have one. So if you look at your IRB application, you can see that like whenever you go down through it, they'll have at least one little chunk, even if you did the, this is from an exempt study, but even if you did the not human research, there is at least a small section that talks about, your methods, and that'll say, I'm going to use primarily interview and observation and documents or whatever. It maybe is not quite this fleshed out because I'm writing up a new one to send in to Bob tomorrow. So you'll note that I am definitely including all kinds of pieces that I can say, this is normal processes. People really do this all the time. So that hopefully by the time you guys get back into this for your IIP in the fall or your dissertation, if you have to put in a new IRB form, he will be all ready to go. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. But
I, just as an aside, I've been learning that the IRB work we've been doing is really more about training the people who read this material versus so much whether it gets passed.
yeah, in a lot of ways. And Troy has a pretty good relationship with him too. And Troy said it sounds to him like since he knew it was a class and it was coursework, that he felt that he needed to take it upon himself to make sure that you were properly trained. So, and like, I should never have had you put in as a co-PI. You should have definitely been a student researcher. And then that clarifies a whole host of problems that we had. But when you did it for Penn State, they wanted you as co-PI because you were actually running the study. So just the difference in institutions that I am now learning. So, yeah. Sure, Tammy.
As well, as I found out for Catherine's class last week, Google Docs does not hold the formatting of APA style with margins and indents, but at least without doing a bunch of additional rework after I copy and paste it out of Word. So I just sent her an email with a Word attachment since it was all APA formatted on Word. Are we submitting this through Blackboard as a Word doc so we don't have to go through that, or?
You can submit it any way your little heart desires as long as you tell me where it's at. There should be an assignment slot on Blackboard.
Okay.
It should be, you can share it to me as a Word document, or you can email it to me as an attachment.
Okay. Am I correct? Did I just do something wrong that Google Docs don't hold the formatting the same?
Google Docs has its own mind.
Getting a hanging indent in Google Docs is horrific. And if you get one in Google Docs and you try to manipulate anything in it, then it goes all kablooey and your margins go this way and that way, and it makes a terrible mess.
Well, and I was thinking the running heads I just couldn't get like majority of the things to work on there.
It's a zoo.
Nope.
And okay. So I just sent her a message that says I'm throwing my hands up and sending it to you this way. And then she sends a message to the whole class. Oh, don't really worry about it. And I'm like, what the fudge?
Well, we don't. Things like that, like, it totally slipped my mind when I said use Google Docs that it doesn't hold APA formatting. And then I was working on what ended up being a 31-page AERA proposal for structured poster session with 28 freaking participants. So when we're trying to do that, we're trying to write it all in Google Docs, and everybody's dropping their things in, and nothing is working. And every time anybody adds something, the formatting, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You can't do a hanging indent in here. Sometimes you're lucky and you copy and paste it in and it works, and it travels, the coding travels through. You can do it, but you have to trick it into doing it, and it's just a zoo.
Well, my vote is that, will somebody please tell, CMU now has the business OneDrive that we could all share files together using Microsoft Office, and we'll keep everything there. And if they would just make sure that everybody has access to it, it would be making everybody's life easy because it'd be one tool everybody would be using. Just as an aside, but it's free. It's for any student and any faculty. They've been programming it.
Yeah, you get to
Promoting
do OneDrive when you go.
There's a business version of it that we could all use, which is much stronger than the individual version, which would be really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can share folders, you can share files, just like Google Docs.
It's like a Dropbox.
Yeah. Well, this is even better because it's just easily accessible. And since they have the system, why aren't we using it?
It's not Jeremy at all, Heather. It's
no.
through the exchange, through your email. But I will tell you that I've been fighting with them for my email since they rolled my account in June, and anything that is saved to my account calendar and my desktop calendar will not sync.
Huh.
And I put events on my calendar on my desktop, and then they erase.
Fascinating.
No. I've missed meetings because they're on my phone. It syncs to my phone. It syncs to my email calendar, but not my desktop calendar. And it has caused me a lot of problems this summer. And I had somebody look at it and they were like, it's working fine. You have all the settings right. I'm like, yeah, the settings are right. I know the settings are right. It's not working still. Like,
does the e-learning director know you're having those troubles?
The e-learning director has nothing to do with that.
No, that's an
IT problem.
OIT problem. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Jeremy and e-learning.
Yeah. And whether or not they support
Jeremy have a voice. with the tech department that we don't have?
Probably not. Not for maybe, but probably not enough of one to like swing it. But I also have learned that Dropbox has made a lot of really nice changes, and I already pay for a business Dropbox, or not a business, a pro Dropbox, and you can annotate and highlight and do a lot of things in there.
Mm,
Mm,
nice.
some, yeah. So, so that might be my solution for sharing files if, depending on how the box, I'm afraid to try anything that they roll out new until they fix it and have it all rolled out in the bugs, because I have lost things in the past. Like
Mm-hmm.
for being a tech person, I am like queen of something crashing and losing everything. So yeah, I've got
Don't blame me there.
0.6 terabytes of data right now on a drive that it's labeled XYZ00372B, you know, because my drive crashed and the kids recovered about half, 3/4 of my files, but none of them have a name on them. They're all labeled that.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But I have most of them. So I'm happy about that. It's better than nothing.
Hmm.
Serenity now. Like I'm really channeling George Costanza.
And back up 3 ways, not just once.
Yeah. I was taught 3-2-1.
Oh yeah.
You back it up in 3 different formats, in 2 different places, and always have one saved to the cloud.
Yeah, I always say 3 and 1 to the cloud. Yeah.
Well, he was talking about the fact that like one of his friends had their dissertation on their computer and on a hard drive and nowhere else in their house. There was not cloud services at the time. House burnt down, all the stuff gone.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 different ways, 2 places.
Critical management. Yep.
Tammy,
Yeah.
please. Another piece of software that's really nice. Dropbox you can do free for 2. I think it's 2. They give you a lot of space right now. You can drop all your files into there. It syncs between your computers and that. That's a cloud service. CrashPlan is also very handy. CrashPlan is a really nice one that every change you make, it auto backs up.
Mm-hmm.
It lives on your computer. It lives on any device, and you can do a family plan for about $170 for 10 devices. So that one's another really nice one to, yes, please ask your hubby about it. Dropbox you can do free.
Get a personal cloud.
Google Drive is free, although Google Drive is not necessarily as security tight as some people would like.
Right.
But yeah, find something.
Yeah.
After I crashed my hard drive for the 3rd time and wasn't sure I was going to get all of my files, including all of my personal pictures back, I finally have an external hard drive.
Yeah. Well, I've got a cloud drive that I have, and I store it at my nephew's place. So
You do that.
in there. So it's really nice because they're cheap now. So that you can access it from anywhere.